Evening, everyone. Hope everyone is doing well on this Thursday afternoon or evening, should I say. As always, we're going to be getting into the Lincoln preview. Got Jake Tong coming on from Channel 72. Make sure you go and subscribe to his channel. He's going to be coming on around 7:30, maybe just after. So he's going to give us his thoughts on Lincoln. Of course, you've probably seen him. He was on the channel a few weeks ago as well on one of the live streams we've done. But yeah, hit the like button as always. If we can get over 50 likes, that would be class. As you guys know, it really does help out the channel. So hit the like button, subscribe if you're new. We're close to 6,500 subscribers. So keep up the amazing support. And yeah, like I said, we're going to be going over the Wycombe game. Before that, we're going to be talking about Ryan Woods. Obviously, we didn't go over him after last week, after he joined after the stream. When you're talking about James Connolly, obviously Clark Harris, everyone wants to know. So, and yeah, other players that could be potentially leaving. Then we'll get on to the Wycombe game, go over that, and then of course get on to the Lincoln game. If you're watching on the replay, I'll leave timestamps in the description below, and don't forget to leave your prediction in the comments after if you're watching later on. But yeah, if you're watching live now, then yeah, obviously get in your comments, and yeah, as we go over the debate about everything. But we're joined by Neil again. Evening, Neil. How you doing on this Thursday evening?
Yeah, what's happening, mate? You all right? I'm all right.
Yeah, mate. No, yeah, not too bad. Good to be back. Obviously, annoying that we're going to be talking about another loss, but it is what it is. But thanks to everyone that's tuning in on the live. We got Pingo, Orange Joker, Kieran West, Gordo, Freddie Noble, evening to you, mate. Evening to Ben Dower as well. Thanks for tuning in again. Evening to Gas GHS, evening from Haldicky in Greece, back for match day. And yeah, hopefully Rovers can go for victory like that comment says. I don't know where that comment's from, but yeah, like I said, we'll get into the Ryan Woods bit quickly. Also, make sure if you haven't already joined FanHub, then the comment is down there. It's scrolling across the screen. 3 uses left. Use the code 0NEW5A to join. But yeah, Neil, thoughts on Ryan Woods quickly. He wasn't in the matchday squad, but has pretty much been at Hull, has looked good in pre-season, but as we've heard from, Hull fans, he wasn't in Liam Rossinia's plans. What do you make of that signing, getting him in on a season-long loan from Hull City?
Yeah, I think decent business again. We spoke about that area of the pitch, and it needs to be bolstered. I think it's another bit of volume, another body in that area that can go and do the ugly stuff. They've done it at a higher level. 28 years of age, championship footballer. He's going to come in. He's going to probably look at what he saw on Saturday and go, I'll walk into that side. I'll absolutely walk in that side. He'll probably look at it and think, I can see exactly why they want me here, to be honest. He's another one that fits the profile of what we spoke about, what we needed as far as, personnel and quality in a certain area. And I think he'll come in and I expect him to do well for us, considering where he's come from and the games he's played elsewhere.
Yeah, definitely. Because it was weird when he only signed for them last season, I believe. Played I think it was 16 or between 16 and 20 odd games. Didn't start loads, but before that, you've seen the clubs he's played for. Started off at Shrewsbury and then pretty much played championship after that. Got loads of, like you said, pedigree, experience, quality, and hopefully, basing it on the last few games in midfield, hopefully he can come into that team. I don't know when he's going to start or when he's going to play it. Hopefully, it should be Saturday. But yeah, I think he's, like I said, he's more of a defensive player, but he's good on the ball as well, and obviously loves the challenge. So yeah, I think it's a really good signing. I think most people who I've seen comment are really happy with that signing as well. Even into Jamie Stockley as well. Even into Samara from Russia. The Russian is fair play. Russian watching as well. Even into Four on Blue, even into Joey's Cap, even into Chad as well. Appreciate you tuning in, and even into David Thatcher as always. Obviously, getting on to the next part, James Connolly. I was going to do a video, but my download and upload speed's been annoying around the house lately. So what did you make of what did you make of Connolly joining Morecambe? Because I'd seen he was linked with a few League One clubs to go there on loan, but obviously he's now signed for Morecambe for a season-long loan as well. What'd you make of that?
Yeah, I never saw it coming. Never knew anything about Beefy going out the door, to be honest. But if you look at the volume you've got there now, as far as what they've recruited and what we've bought, academy lads coming in on loan, etc. At 21 years of age, it makes sense for him to go and play League Two football regularly every week. He's a baby, Beefy. You know what I mean? He can come back and I've got no doubts he can come back and play League One football, definitely. But he needs games. He desperately needs games. I know we spoke about it previously with people like Jed Ward and things like sitting and watching ain't going to do him no good. And it's the same with Beefy. He's 21. He needs to go out, play games, keep building on what he's done, keep learning his trade. I still think there's a future for him here, definitely.
Yeah, I agree. Orange Joker commenting on G6. We'll get to that comment in a minute and talk about him and other news. Yeah, I agree. Like he obviously started the first game, didn't he? Started the first game against Portsmouth. Obviously and then his only other appearance was off the bench against Ipswich when he come on really late. Obviously we had him on loan in League Two, done quality with that partnership with Taylor. And them two really blossomed. And then obviously Taylor went back. Obviously last season, Connolly started, the season. It was all mixed up and at the back playing different players. And then he did make, I think, 20 odd appearances last season, but he did have an injury, which obviously wouldn't have helped him as well. But he didn't look the same player. But then, like you said, when you bring in Wilson, you get Taylor back on a permanent deal. You get Kramer that's come in on loan and looked really good. Then it's hard. Like there's no point of him staying here and just playing, in the Checkatrade Trophy or the Pizza Cup, whatever it's called now. He needs games, like you said, and hopefully he can do well. I think they've had a bit of a mixed start. I think 2 wins, a draw, and 2 losses. Morecambe currently sit mid-table, but hopefully, he can do really well up there and hopefully get a promotion, another promotion on his CV, maybe, depending on, obviously, it is a tough league now in League Two with the likes of Wrexham, Gillingham, Notts County, etc. But yeah, hopefully he can do well. I've seen mixed reviews, actually. I've seen a lot of people saying, if we get a few injuries or we get someone injury, then, there isn't, because you got Kramer, Taylor, Wilson, but now Connolly's gone. You've got Hall, obviously, can do a job there, even though we've seen it last season. He's not the best there. Friend can do there. Obviously, Grant, Tom Butler, even into you as well, saying Hall and Grant can cover at centre-back. But yeah, it's a good move for him. Hopefully he does well, and yeah, they can do well. Ben Darrell saying after watching Connolly at Portsmouth, you could tell he wasn't up. Bishop, it was hard, especially Bishop. He's not physical, and like you said, he is still young. He's done turn 22 until I think a day before my birthday. He's the 2nd of November, Connolly. So he don't until turn 22 until then. But yeah, hopefully he does well. But yeah, getting on to obviously the window, the transfer window. Currently signed 12 players. Obviously got a mix. We've got 5 loans in. So I've seen a lot of people, or even maybe Joey, could try and find another loan, but you got to remember you can only have five loan players in a matchday squad. So if we signed any other players on loan, then one of obviously the loan players would have to miss out. But there's been to be fair, there's been no rumours of clubs in for Belshaw whatsoever. We've talked about Belshaw. I think with a year left, I don't know what's going to happen, whether someone comes in last minute. You've got Loft, who looks to be going to Port Vale on a permanent deal. I think most Rovers fans have seen that anyway. What else? What do you make of it? Do you think we'll see, apart from Loft, do you think we'll see much action going out of the club? Because you've got, McCormick, even though we got that goal, with the more players we have been getting in, do you still think he'll be a part of it, or Gibbons? Do you see anyone else going apart from Loft? And do you think someone will come in for Belshaw last minute?
I can see it happening tomorrow, to be honest. I can see Belly going tomorrow. Goalkeepers are always sought after. There's always movement in goalkeepers on deadline day, whether that's to start, freak injury, wants to go in, go and sit on a bench for someone at a bigger. I can see that deal being. It's a load of waffle when people say, "Oh, it's hard work to get a deal done." It isn't. You can get a deal done in 20 minutes. We've seen it. Like there's so much gets done on the final day. It's not difficult to do. I can see Belly going tomorrow. Don't know where, but I can see him going. Gibbo's a difficult one because he's injured. You got to want to take him when he's when he's crook. Who's going to want to? The Loft one can be done. I think. I don't think there's any bad blood or any issues there with Loft going. I think Lofty probably himself, he's itching for games himself probably, and he probably thinks, do you know what? I came in, I did what I was meant to do. I met the brief of what they wanted for the 50 grand sale, came in, got us up, and now I've probably got to go and play games elsewhere to try and maintain my level of performance and build a career. I can see Jones going out on loan. I can see that going somewhere like maybe National League South somewhere potentially. Other than that, I can't see Macca going. He's too delicate. I think if you want to keep Macca fit and healthy, you want to have eyes on him all the time because he's too fragile and he could break down. And you don't know what other clubs are doing with him. Do you know what I mean? So I think they're going to want to look to keep him in house, monitor him, and try and build him back up and have eyes on him every day. Other than that, I'm struggling to think of any others that have an opportunity to go. As far as income is, I think it's shit or bust, isn't it? With Jono, I think that's what it is. If you don't get him, and that'll be that. I think it's all eggs all in one basket and open for the best.
Yeah. Hopefully it can happen, JC. What do you make of the whole situation? Obviously, there was talk of a little talk of Derby. I mean, Barton come out, didn't he, after and said after the Wycombe game about Clark Harris. But now there was talk of Derby, but then the journalist, I can't remember his name, but it was on Twitter. I quote tweeted it earlier about, he was saying that there's no chance Derby go in for him. I don't know because they've already got like 4 or 5 strikers as it is Derby. So I could see him going Derby. But obviously, after all the talk of this, Clark Harris has been for ages. And, like, what do you make of the whole situation? Do you think it will happen? Because I've heard different stuff. I've heard that he's definitely signing. I've heard that he's going Derby. I've heard that he's signing tomorrow. Like, until it's done, obviously, it's not done. So we need it to hurry up and happen. But like you said, it's literally all eggs in one basket in it for Clark Harris. The only thing with us that will help it is obviously, I'm guessing because we've got the 20% sell-on clause, hopefully that can have some effect of us getting him back. So we would get him for even cheaper. And then obviously the fact, I'm pretty sure Peterborough still owe us money from that as well for like bonuses. So like, what do you make of the whole thing? Are you confident, or is it sort of weird for you that he wants to come back to Rovers, considering he could easily go and play at maybe a high level or something?
I don't know nothing about the politics of the deal. I don't know nothing about Jono's situation, his family or anything. Like, all I hear is that his missus is from Bristol. He's from Leicester, is a lad. So, but he holds all the aces. Peterborough hold all the aces here. They got a player under contract that is an absolute gun in the division. Like, he's the best in the division, and let's be honest, he's guaranteed.
Yeah.
You can't guarantee much, but you can guarantee Jono gets you goals. He's sat on a deal. He doesn't have to go anywhere. You can look at that and go, do you know what? This is my demands. This is the fee. If you don't match it, he's staying here. He's scoring goals for us, and he can walk away. And then Jono could probably go, do you know what? That suits me. I'll walk away at the end of my deal and want a massive salary elsewhere because you ain't got to pay a transfer fee for me. The flip side of that is, we've heard about Bolton and Derby and Rovers being in for him. Now, this is just me. If I'm Jono, right? This is just me. If I'm Jono, I'm thinking, if they're the 3 clubs that are potentially in for me, Rovers are at the bottom of that list because If Derby are in for you, you go Derby, don't you? If Derby are in for you, go Derby. If it's between Derby and Rovers, if the fee is agreed, they can offer you, where you play, the players around you, history of the club, everything leads close to Leicester, suits him down to the ground. He's going to want 3 years. He's definitely going to want 3 years to go anywhere. The Bolton one, Christ, if Bolton are in for you, go Bolton, don't you? They're flying. They've just had Dion Charles sign on again. They're scoring goals for fun. They're going to be there or thereabouts. So, and then I think the only way we get him is if we meet the fee, which is going to be over £1 million. So I don't know what this new Kuwaiti investor can do as far as putting money forward, but to me, the only way you fund that is if you sell Collins first, unless he bankrolls it, and then you've got to agree terms with him. And it's basically that was my only option. I'll go Rovers because no one else is in for me. So I just think there's so much to get through in a day to get that deal done, to persuade him to come. Like if I'm Jono, I'm just thinking, well, I'll go then if they can meet my salary, if a fee's agreed. But if out of those 3 clubs, Rovers are bottom of my list. If I'm Jono.
Yeah, for me, I think Bolton are out of it after. I think they would have only. Hopefully that don't come back and bite me, but I'd have thought with Dion Charles there, Adebayo, they've got other strikers as well. Thing is with Clark Harris, obviously it was what was his name that brought him into the club? It was the absolute idiot that was at Rovers was doing the recruitment then. What was his Widrington? That's it, Widrington, because he worked at Coventry, because that's the thing.
No, it was
with
Coughlin
Clark Harris.
Coughlin knew him. It was Coughlin.
Coughlin. Yeah, but it was Widrington as well because Widrington was at Coventry as well doing something. Coughlin was manager.
He'd worked with him before.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't remember what club, but yeah, he did. But yeah, that was when we obviously. Thing is with Clark Harris as well. Before he joined Rovers, he didn't even hit double figures wherever he was. And the first season he comes, what did he get? 27 in 57 games. He was there. He was with us for like just a year and a half, something or like just that. Over.
He left with a year.
He was amazing.
Like a year left on his deal, didn't he? Something like that.
Yeah, because even then it was apparently it was 1.2 mil. So, we'll have to see. Coughlin had JCH at Southend, says Tom Butler as well, and yeah, a lot of people saying, Gordo saying can see him ending at Oxford or Portsmouth. I mean, Portsmouth have already bought.
Oxford are all in for they want Marriott.
Yeah, Oxford apparently want Issa as well. Issa and Marriott.
I spoke to my Oxford mate, and it's looking at. I think they want Marriott, but they want something like 400 grand for him.
Even more than that, apparently. Apparently, it's 500k Fleetwood want for Marriott.
If they don't get him, they're going to go in for Armstrong from Harrogate. I think that was the thought process for him. From him anyway. My mate was Oxford, so.
Yes, it's mad, really. Ford and Blue saying with the JCH deal, we'll be scuppered in the 11th hour and we'll end up with a young loanee. Ben Darrell saying can't see Gas paying over for $1 million for Jono. Hope it happens, but big ass. Peterborough are always tough negotiators, especially Darren McAntony. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and we will break. Gasp. Pap saying, yeah, we will. We'll break. I think the most expensive player we've got is Andy Tilson. Or the most we spent was Andy Tilson back in the late 90s, I think, for 350 grand, I think, or 370k. Because a lot of people thought it was Tom Nichols. Then people thought it was McCormick, but apparently it's Andy Tilson. So, yeah, that would be, it would be triple. Come the end, it will be over triple what our record was for buying a player. So it's pretty mad. Hopefully it happens. I'm confident. I'm really confident of it happening. So hopefully tomorrow, because like you said, it's mad. It's only tomorrow, isn't it? Tomorrow is the last day. So like you said, it is going to be tough. Him coming. So
But like I said, Peterborough hold all the aces
Yeah.
here. They hold all the aces here. It's completely up to Peterborough. They're not.
Mhm.
He's not. His contract ain't up tomorrow. Do you know what I mean? They're not scrambling to get money. They can do what they want with him. He could tomorrow could pass. He could be a Peterborough player and he keeps scoring goals for Peterborough.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. 92 apparently, 1992. So yeah, I wasn't even born when that happened. So that was that long ago, you know. And yeah, Gas Pap saying Tilson was 395,000. So there you go. That was so yeah, it would pretty much double, triple if we got him in. But yeah, fingers crossed that happens. Apart from that, I don't think we'll get anyone else. I don't think we'll get another loaning, because what's the point of getting another loaning when you'll leave more players out. So yeah, we've pretty much discussed everything. So yeah, fingers crossed JCH, but I'm very confident. I'm confident that is happening. I've always been pretty confident. Just the fact that, I mean, you might laugh, but
you're confident we win every week, though.
Yeah, but you've got to be confident, surely.
Yeah, not if results say different. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but it's just
I'm
always the optimistic one. Yeah, I mean, I know, but it's just me and it. I'm always the
blind faith, though, isn't it? That's all it is. It's a blind faith.
Yeah. Yes. Samara's saying, please, Johnson Clark Harris is our ex player. So yeah, Tom Butler just laughing there. Ford and Blue saying it was 395k for Tilly, as we got Waddock and Channing the same week from QPR, then got pumped 5-0 by Barnsley on a wet Tuesday night. Neil backs us to lose every week, and we do. Yeah, we'll win every game. Yeah, I'm always the optimistic one, but yeah, keep hitting the like button. There's over 52 people watching. If you could all hit a like, that'd be really appreciated. It helps the algorithm of the channel and makes it get out there even more. So appreciate everyone that's tuning in, and all the comments as well is always class. And don't forget, subscribe if you haven't already. If you're just tuning in, subscribe as well. And obviously, if you missed anything after the stream is ended, I'll put the timestamps in, and you can go under in the description and look if you've missed anything. But getting on to, and even into Kelly as well. Yeah, you've just missed us talking about JCH really, and Ryan Woods, and Connolly getting on loan. But yeah, thanks for tuning in. So yeah, Wycombe. Obviously, that was we said in the preview about what changes we would do. In the end, there was five changes. Like I said, there was Loft, no Lewis Gordon, no Luca Hall, even on the bench. Obviously, Ryan Woods went there either. James Wilson and Giovanni Brown come back from injury. Sinclair went back into the team. And George Friend and Jack Hunt out of nowhere were in the starting lineup. Obviously, we got Friend ages ago now, it seems, back in the summer, but he hadn't. So that was his first league start, same as Jack Hunt. What did you make of the lineup? Because for me, I was shocked, but I was happy that there were a lot of changes, but I didn't think there would be as many as that. What did you make of the lineup when you seen it?
I had sort of mixed reviews, and I had concerns, to be honest. Like I was pleased we had senior pros in there. I thought it was exactly what we needed off the back of Cambridge. We had good senior pros back in that side. But the one thing that absolutely baffled me, and I couldn't understand it, considering you're playing probably the physical team in the division, full of monsters, and you don't play Connor Taylor. I just don't get that. Unless there's a reason why he's not starting, I don't know why that is. I just can't fathom why that is a good decision to not play Connor Taylor against a side that is full of monsters from delivering set pieces. It made no sense to me. Made absolutely no sense to me. Unless, because if you're fit to start, you're fit to be on the bench, you're fit to be on the bench, you're fit to start. Do you know what I mean? I just don't get it. But why, out of everyone in that side, why you wouldn't play? I couldn't understand it. And then we go and concede from a set piece.
Yeah, I know. I was annoyed because I thought I was still obviously comfortable with Wilson and Crammer when I seen it, but I still wanted Taylor to start because I didn't see, like you said, when you got the team, full of, and of course, getting into the game, it was so frustrating because I thought we started well, had a lot of the ball, played some good stuff, but when it come to the edge of the box. No one wanted to shoot. And then, of course, Wycombe's first, you couldn't even say chance, but Wycombe's first set piece they had, of course, the tallest player on the pitch, ex-Bristol City centre-back, Joe Lowe, had a free header in the box. I mean, I don't know. I just couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it that he had a free header. What did you make of the first half? And like you said, the goal, like, just so shocking, wasn't it, to concede when we've had all the possession, been round near their box, didn't have any shots, or if they were wide, and then go and concede like that.
I mean, we've said it for weeks now. Like since the start of the season, we're lovely on the ball. You know, we have got good stats. Like we've probably got the best stats in the division for possession.
Yeah, I think we have. I think I've seen the post.
But a good proportion of us having the ball is other teams being plenty comfortable where we've got it. Not once did Wycombe, not once were Wycombe at all concerned about where we had the ball, because they let us have it all along our back line. We got into midfield, and where do Wycombe not want you to go? Right through the guts here. So they show you wide, and we play it wide, because what happens when it goes wide? It goes into the box. And what do Wycombe don't stop the cross, because you've got three monsters in there. And our delivery Saturday was we just hung it up. It was we played into Wycombe's hands. Yeah, we had all the ball because Wycombe let us have it. They were happy for us to have it, because it was basically let them have it at the back, hold your press, let them get into the halfway line. Once you get to the halfway line, show them wide, they'll play it wide. It's perfect. It's exactly what they wanted us to do, because we couldn't breach it, because we haven't got the one integral bit of our side that we need to make that system and pattern of play work. Hopefully he comes tomorrow, but until such a time, every team is going to play like that against us and saying, invite us on, make sure they go wide. And if you've got dominating centre halves up against a Marquis, a Collins, or whoever else you want to play straight down the guts, and anyone arriving late, we'll deal with that, because you play the percentages, and more often than not, you should be able to deal with that. And Wycombe, it was perfect. It's exactly what they wanted.
Yeah. It's just so annoying, because there hasn't been any change, because it was the same last season. Whenever we come up against a team that, you know, like you have in the ball, and it's the same once we get into it, and once Jake comes in, because I've already seen there. I've seen something, I don't know, was one of the pages they showed, Lincoln are the same. They don't mind you having the ball. They're a physical team, free at the back, play with wing backs, and we were saying it in last week. We were saying it. You cannot do the same thing again, and we all knew it was going to be like it. Every fan knew it was going to be the same thing. So why can't we? Because why can't we deal with it? I know you say about the striker and as well, but there wouldn't. No one wanted to shoot anyway. We had plenty of opportunities, and I said it in my reaction, the only shot on target we had was the goal. We didn't have a shot on target apart from Harvey Vell's goal.
Yeah, because ever since the start of the season, we've been playing a certain pattern that doesn't allow us to go and be that side who's going to just, get on the half turn and hit something from 35 yards. You know what I mean? We're too intricate with what we play. And my biggest concern for us at the minute is how exposed we are in that middle, because we go so high and we've got so much volume going forward. It's not sustainable to play that way when you've got two holding midfielders and we're so advanced, and when that gets split open, like what we've seen, second goal Cambridge, second goal Wycombe. Do you know what I mean? We're massively exposed, but we don't get that exposed when you've got a centre forward that can occupy centre halves. And so when we do go up the top end of the pitch, it's not just meat and drink from them. They've actually got to do some work to be able to get that ball back. What we did against Wycombe we'd have been okay with Jono, because it was allowed him to go and attack the ball. We've got no one to attack the ball in that sort of circumstance. I think we're operating at about 35% at the minute. I think we'll be fine. We will be fine this season. I think we'll
I agree.
We'll finish top half. I think we'll finish top half. We'll have a say in the playoff situation. I think we'll have a say in it. I'm not saying we'll finish in there. The Jono thing makes us have to finish in the playoffs. I think the way that budget's been blown to bits. Other sides will look at that's a top 6 budget. You got the marquee centre forward of the division. Top 6 is a must. But I think we're operating at about 35% at the minute. But we're 5 games in. Who gives a toss? You know what I mean? We've got so many miles to go down the track yet. We've got ages to go. I think we'll be absolutely fine. We're only going to get better. What we're doing at the minute is fine. We're just getting caught out, and we're a bit naive to things at the minute. But I've got no concerns about us over the course of a season. I just think we're operating at about 35% of what we're going to be a bit further down the track.
I mean, obviously, like you said, it was disappointing because overall, most of the stuff I thought was pretty good. But like you said, when it come to we sort of almost want to, what's the word? We sort of almost want to sort of pass it into the goal.
Yeah,
because you got no one.
What choice do you have?
But you look at the amount of times we got on the edge of the box on Saturday, but no one wanted to shoot apart from the time that I think it was just before half time when Giovanni Brown, there was the best bit of play we've done in that half. A few 1-2s, Giovanni Brown got it and hit the volley off the post. But apart from that, there was
that's an half chance.
Even really, then, like how many chances did we have to shoot, especially in that first 20 minutes before they scored? But no one, we almost want to play this, but no one wants to. But whereas the Barnsley game and the Charlton game, we were having loads of chances. Even Pompey, we had quite a few chances. But then the last 2 games, this sort of, I know it's against teams that obviously play differently and have different systems, but there was just no chances created.
I think what needs to be understood is the way we're playing at the minute. It perfectly suits the profile of the centre forward we want to bring in, and therefore chances get created off of that because you've got someone who's big, strong, can roll. You can play off of him. You can get the ball back. Everything is set up lovely off the back of a linchpin that sits at the front of the top end of that pitch. We haven't got at the minute, so it keeps coming back, and every chance you create has to be near on perfect for it to come along. You can't just play the percentages of we'll sling a ball in the box here and hope that it lands for Marquis or it lands for Collins. With Jono, throw it in there, he'll go and meet it.
Yeah. But then even if we do get Clark Harris, then you need a bit more. We know he's quality, but even then you need more. You sort of can.
He's going to be ideal for us going down the middle of the pitch though, because he can pin centre half. You can get the ball back off of him. He can roll players. Everything can go. Everything can go through him as a focal point. We don't have that at the minute. We just don't have that. But the way we play at the minute, nothing has to change if Jono comes in because that is the linchpin at the top of the pitch that we need for the way we're playing at the minute. If we don't get Jono and we don't get a centre forward that meets that profile, then I think we do have to change the way we play because we're going to be going nowhere fast.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with a lot of people, saying, apart from the final third, Ben Darrell saying got to play Taylor next to Wilson because Wilson's very slow. Baffling how we tried. It's funny, isn't it? We take out Marquis. I know he was having chances but didn't finish him. But we take out Marquis, then we cross the ball loads against Wycombe. It's pretty mad. Ben Darrell saying that as well. Watched the game in Spain, disappointed with the lack of shots outside the box, poor defending, and it's annoying as well. It's not like that's the really frustrating thing for me anyway, is that the fact teams are not having loads of opportunities against us. It's just that one bit of concentration saying that, the second goal, I thought it was a foul.
It was a foul, 100%.
A blatant foul. But then you got to look at it. It should have never have got to they should have never got to the edge of the box. And then obviously it was so frustrating. It was a foul. But like you said, if we can, it's little bits. That's the frustrating thing for me, because last season there was games when we were conceding loads of chances and just gifting sort of teams or making mistakes. But then this season, we've conceded, 8 goals, I think, or 7 goals. But we're not. That's the only frustrating thing, is that we're not conceding loads of chances. But when a team has a chance, we're conceding, because it's just little things like that which we need to. Because overall, our defending has been pretty solid. But like you said, like, it's just, yeah, and people saying lack of plan B. Or only proper opportunity that we had in the goal was running off the ball in behind and around the box. There was none of that in the first half, says Will. Yeah, make sure you subscribe to Will BRC Vlogs as well. To quote Oddball, there you go, all the from negative vibes. Come on, you gas, says Kelly. But yeah, it's frustrating. I mean, what players stood out for you though? I know. Obviously, it was a defeat. It was a lot of, but for me, I'll say I thought Jack Hunt, especially, I thought he was quality. I thought to be fair, I thought Friend was pretty good, to be fair, considering he hadn't played a game all season for a 35-year-old to step in. You know, he wanted to get forward. But like you said, it was, Collins didn't really get in the game. Thomas tried, getting it in the box, but like you said, there was nothing there. And I thought, Finley and Ward, I thought were disappointing again, personally. But I thought Jack Hunt and Friend were the standouts. Really, what did you make of, some of the performances, and who stood out for you, if you was to say?
Yeah, I think immediately looking at it, I thought the Hunt and Thomas combination down that side looked good. As far as them two linking up and having an understanding, they seem to be on the same wavelength of what they wanted to do, as far as over and underlapping, when to receive it, when to bounce off of each other. I thought Giovanni Brown again. I think he brings a lot of quality to us. I think he's really good for us.
Yeah.
I think he interlinks. I know he hasn't played great this season, but I think he plays better with Brown in the side. I think they're two players that are on the same wavelength as far as the way they want to play together. As far as me having concerns, I said at the start about, a few weeks ago about Ward playing in a double screen with the way we play, and I worry about him. I just don't think he's gritty enough for us, to be honest. He's all right there in the odd occasion. I thought he was great against Charlton on the odd occasion, but over the course of the season, I just don't think that suits us, is him being in there. We're well exposed. You need 2 dogs in there, real out and out dogs in there. And I just don't think he's made for that. He's got loads of quality on the ball. He's lovely, nice and tidy. But as far as off the ball, I think he could do a job here and there. But over the course of, 40 plus games, I just don't think he's that guy. That's the way I see it. I thought Kramer's had another bad game for me Saturday. I don't think he played well again Saturday. To me, over the last couple of games, he looks like what he is. He's an academy graduate. Do you know what I mean? He's come from 23s football. And when he's played against the big sides where he's allowed to have it and he's allowed to play and do all the nice stuff, he looks good. But when he's coming up against people like Vokes and old school back to goal centre forwards that are going to say, do you know what, you're going to have to fight me first before you can play, I just think he looks unsettled. I just don't think he's set. I just don't think he's made for that at the minute. I'm not saying he's not going to be a good centre half, but I just think he gets targeted by sides that thinks, we can rough this kid up. He don't know what League One's about yet. And I think Taylor comes in Saturday because I just don't think he's had a bit of a wake up call to think, Christ, this is what League One's about. Last 2 games.
Yeah.
Charlton was pleasant. Do you know what I mean? Pompey was pleasant. It was just like when he come up against, the 30-year-old bastards up top that want to get all elbows back in, get physical, niggly off the ball, give you a load of shit in your ear. I just think he looks like what he is at the minute. He's come from 23s and he's got a lot to learn.
Yeah. It's hard, obviously hard because there will be. That's the thing. There will be different games, he's good at, which he has been so far. But then, like you said, there's other games where he'll struggle because, for one, he's there are some, like you said, when you come up against Sam Vokes, who we talked about a lot, and obviously a lot of people will know he's had an excellent career, internationally, and played in the Premier League for long spells of time throughout his career. Yeah, he is. It is tough, and there's going to be inconsistencies because of his age as well, isn't it? Like you said, it's his first loan spell, and it is completely different. So, yeah,
And
obviously we'll get into
the opening goal. I just don't think Connor Taylor gets peeled off of like that. He just doesn't anymore. Like I know he's only what 21 himself, but he's savvy now. Do you know what I mean? He's done his apprenticeship in League Two. He's coming to League One. He knows what it is in the box. He knows how to handle himself in the box when there's a melee and there's movement and there's the dark arts are going on. I just don't think he gets peeled off of like that.
Yeah, I mean, for me, to be fair, I didn't even know. I couldn't even, because I was just so concentrated, but I didn't even properly see who it was. Was it Crammer? Was it who let it go low?
He got in between him and Finlay. Basically, done what you do in the box is get between your two players, and he did. He got like Finlay was never going to be in there to win it anyway. Do you know what I mean? He's just in there as a presence and a distraction. But as far as going and attacking the ball, for me, if Connor Taylor don't win it, he definitely like gets a reaction.
Yeah, because I wasn't gonna watch it back on the highlights, but I didn't even watch the highlights. I was so fuming with losing that. I haven't even watched it
he
again.
Definitely affects the play, Connor Taylor. If that ball comes in there, he affects the play somehow. He don't get a free header. There's no way he gets a free header.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I wanted Taylor to start anyway. To be honest with you, I really wanted him to start anyway. So. Yeah, it was disappointing, but like you said, we'll get on to. I mean, I think Jake's going to be home soon. Who's coming on? He finished work late. So yeah, the Lincoln fan should be on soon. But I want to quickly ask you. Obviously, we went over Jono, but Brendan Tucker said, Do you think obviously you said it yourself anyway, but do you think there is a? You said we're going all eggs in one basket. So do you not think there's a plan B at all?
I think there will be, but the problem I've got with it is if there is another option, it's such a massive drop off from Jono. Like whoever it is that's going to come, it's so underwhelming. Whoever comes in the door, you know what I mean? You look at it, it's if you don't get Jono, whoever it is, no matter who it is, whoever comes in. It's going to be a drop off, isn't it? It ain't going to be the same. It ain't going to be the same expectations. I mean, if Jono comes in, you're expecting a goal every game, aren't you? Because he's that guy. He is that guy in League One. Do you know what I mean? I just don't see if there is another option. If the Jono thing don't work out, whoever it is going to be really underwhelming. I think.
Yeah. Jake's literally going to be a few minutes. He literally just got home, so he's going to be maybe a minute or so. I think the rest are not fit enough for the division, says Gas Pat. Fullbacks got forward well. Evans and I want to quickly shout out Vale because I thought he looked really good when he come on. Give us that other dynamic because we know that he can play in the center behind the striker, but he can also play on both wings. Preferably, I've seen the games that I've seen him in, he plays on the left. So, yeah, for me, it was a good finish. Got in there, and yeah, I thought he looked good. Maybe could have had a little bit more time on the pitch. I mean, yeah, it's sort of a frustrating one, wasn't it? There has to be a plan B, but then again, it's Gas. Kramer sounds like Quanza. I mean. Kramer's a lot better, but it's hard in it though because they're both they're both young and it was both their first teams. But we'll get into the starting
100%. He looks loads better than All I'm saying is when you come up against a burly old school back to goal centre half who's physical, wants to get in your ear, give you a load of shit, and make life difficult for you, then he looks like an academy graduate.
Yeah. I mean, we're going to get into talking Lincoln now. Jake has just arrived. Evening, Jake. Welcome.
Hello, Charlie, mate. Hello, everyone. I've literally just this second walked in from an 11-hour shift, so I do apologise for my lateness. But looking forward to talking about hopefully another memorable weekend down at the Mem for Lincoln.
yeah, because obviously, you mentioned it. We mentioned it. What was it, a month ago or so that you Yeah, obviously the last time you come down, you had an absolute field day. Obviously you done the double over us as well. You beat the other team in Bristol as well, so you beat Bristol teams 3 times last year. So yeah, and I'm guessing with the confidence so far this season and the performances, you're probably like you just said, then you're confident again. Yeah, before we get into more, make sure you go and subscribe to Jake's new channel. He did come on, I think it was about a month ago, maybe a bit before that, saying about his new channel, but he's close, I think, to 300 subscribers on that. So go and subscribe to channel 72. It's all about basically League One content. And give him a follow as well. His socials are down in the description as well. But basically Jake_Tong98 as well. But yeah, getting into Lincoln, like a lot of people have seen, you started really well. Currently 4th in the league. Only lost 1 game in all competitions so far. What have you made of it? What have you made of the start? I'm guessing you're definitely going to be pretty happy, especially coming off the back of a cup win as well. So
yeah, last night was pretty special. To be fair, to go to Bramall Lane and hold £40 million worth of attacking talent to not scoring was pretty good. But no, look, I think we've had a good start. I look at opening day, we nearly matched Bolton. Obviously, they were on that run, weren't they? They battered almost everyone they played. It was 2 set piece, 2 corners and an own goal that separated us from Bolton. And I walked away sort of quietly confident coming away from that because we played really well. We had some really good spells against a team that I think are going to win the league this year. And then we go into some slightly more favourable games against Wycombe and Northampton, and then Blackpool, and we win 2-3-0, and we draw the other 2-2, which we played pretty well in some of them, and the win against Shrewsbury as well. So we know how to win games despite not playing well, which is a good sign, I think. We played awfully at Shrewsbury and came away with a 1-0 win. Like I said, the home records, which was a problem last year because we just drew too many games at Sincil Bank, but we've won the first 2 back-to-back 3-0 wins. So I'm happy with the way we're playing. I think we've got a really good squad, a really good mix of emerging talent and some really good senior pros, some younger pros that are having to be senior because we've got an extremely young group anyway. But no, delighted. Obviously, we got West Ham at home in the cup last night as well, which is a pretty nifty draw. So life is good as a Lincoln fan at the minute. But hopefully we can continue to that. I mean, I'm under no illusion. Bristol Rovers will be a tricky game. You've maybe not had the start you're after. I know you've had a couple of iffy results, but you've still got some massive threats in your team. And if we're not 100% on Saturday, you're going to cause us problems. I've got no doubt in my mind about that.
Yeah, and as we were pretty much the whole stream so far. Obviously, we've talked about the Wycombe game, but yeah, a lot of it has been about the number 9, Clark Harris, which is looking good of what I've heard, that he's joining us. So fingers crossed we can see. But yeah, I mean, yeah, we've heard there's been loads of stuff, Derby apparently, but then apparently they're not interested. And so yeah, it would be we would smash our transfer fee. We've played for someone by double or even triple. So yeah, it's meant to be happening of what I've heard. So we'll see about that. But that'd be even better if he's there for Saturday. It'd be match fit. It'd be thrown straight into that team. So that would be very nice. But it's not done yet, so I'm not going to get too gassed about it until it's announced. But yeah, like you've talked about, you beat Wycombe 3-0. Obviously, we just lost to them and struggled against them. You've, like you said, your away form is like you said, you were 2-0 up against Northampton. They pulled it back to 2-2. Like you said, you played poor against Shrewsbury, but won. But that's some things that we've struggled with. For even for as long as I've been going to Rovers, really, a lot of games that I've seen Rovers play, when we play poor, we don't usually win. We will 90 90 times out of 100 we'll lose. So that's obviously a good thing for you that even the games you have played not the best in, you've won. So, I mean, getting on to some of the players, tell us some of the players that you have brought in this summer. Because looking at it on paper, I wouldn't say they're amazing signings, but they fit the way obviously you play and are just solid players. But like you said, you've one star player that you didn't buy in the summer, but you've had for a little while is Mandrio. And as an opposing team, I would say he's probably your standout player looking at stats and stuff. But what players have you brought in or some of the players you've brought in over the summer?
Yeah, so I think we've brought in 8. Couple of loan deals that I'll talk about them first. We've got a lad on loan from Millwall, Mitchell. He's a no-nonsense centre-back. You can imagine being schooled by Millwall. He's a bit of a head it, kick it, get it as far away as possible sort of player. And then we have Jake Burrows, who's come through at Coventry. I think he played in the playoff final for them. He came off the bench from last year in the playoff final, which was good. But he's come in and been pretty good. And then we had an issue last year, Charlie, with loanees. Really, we had 7 loanees, which obviously means that you can only have 5 in the matchday squad, so 2 had to miss out.
Yeah,
I think Mark realised that we needed to buy our own players and have our own assets. So we've seen lots come in. We had Tyler Walker. I know he's been linked with Gas a few times. He's a player that's loved in Lincoln from his spell pre-COVID. Jaden Brown came in from Sheffield Wednesday. He'd just been promoted with them, played a couple of times towards the end of the season. I'm trying to remember them all now. Ali Smith came in from Sutton. I think he'd been at Sutton maybe a year when you guys got promoted. He scored 9 goals from the middle midfield for a Sutton team that weren't great.
Full physical centre mid, isn't he?
Yeah, that if you sit off from him, he'll hit it from 30 yards and he'll put it in the top corner. Same as Ethan Hamilton. He's obviously got a bit of a track record of doing it in League One with Accrington and Bolton and Southend. Lucas Jensen came in. He was our hero again last night. He was fantastic. Saved 2 penalties. He's coming from Accrington last year. And at first glance, you look at it, Accrington conceded 83 goals in the league last year, and you're thinking, you signed a goalkeeper from Accrington. He must be absolutely woeful. But do you know what? He's been pretty decent. I don't know if you can remember, if your old school Premier League knowledge is clever, then you'll get it.
His dad.
His dad used to play for Burnley in the Premier League. And you know what? He's a phenomenal goalkeeper. I mean, he's really his kicking needs a bit of work. He's not. We had Carl Rushworth in goal last year. Carl Rushworth was one of the best keepers in the league. But we're comparing it to him, but he's done pretty well since coming in. I'm drastically trying to remember who we signed, but you spoke about Danny Mandroyu there. He's fantastic. I genuinely think, and I know I've got Lincoln tinted spectacles on, whatever. I genuinely think he could be player of the year in the league this year. He's that good. I mean, there's been links of FC Twente and Standard Liège, who are both in European competition, in European leagues, interested. But he started the season so well. 3 goals, 2 assists in 5 games is a pretty handy start. Scored a penalty on Saturday and is playing really well. And then Ethan Errahan as well. I think you would have seen him. I think he was actually the player that your manager offered a scrap for live on the radio.
Bought and offered him.
Because I think he had midfield in strings last year at Sinsel Bank. So, yeah, we've got lots of threats, Charlie. We're a good team and we're on form. And the thing that's good this year is we've got options from the bench. So if something's not working, if we're playing 3-4-3 and it's not working against you guys, we can bring on a Teddy Bishop who's technically far too good to be at this level and can change the game. So we've got options and lots of them. So you'll see it hopefully firsthand on Saturday how Mark uses his bench to put a game in our favour. So yes, that's a long-winded answer for saying we have lots and lots of good players, but I'm more than aware that you guys do too. And if you bring in Clark Harris. He's got a bit of a knack of scoring against us. So if you couldn't, that would be great.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting to see if he signs. But like you said, we've signed loads as well. We've got 12. We've made 12 signings. Five loanees as well. Obviously Ryan Woods being the latest signing, who I think is an excellent pickup at this level. He hasn't played yet. He didn't get in the squad on. Thing is now, because we've got so many players, it's sort of been, the first sort of 2-3 games we actually look really good. But obviously, like you said, the last two we've struggled. But now it's even hard for obviously, I know Barton signed all these players, but now it's, who do you leave out? Because we were talking, before you come on, about the two fullbacks that played against Wycombe with their first starts of the season. Jack Hunt, who we signed a couple of weeks or last week and a half ago, who was quality. Of course, another ex-Wednesday player like you signed, Jaden Brown, and then George Friend, the 35-year-old who was bombing up and down last week against Wycombe. So, yeah, it's hard. It's hard now to even guess the team because, after Saturday, obviously, the last time you come on, we were mentioning Collins. Now, I don't think he's leaving. He's had a tough start to the season, not scored a goal. Probably should have had a couple of goals. Probably should have had 3 assists as well. Based on the Charlton away game, he should have had 3 assists, but he's not looking himself. But hopefully this game, I think he got a couple against you last season in one of the home game. So yeah, we'll have to see. And obviously, what's your sort of style of play? What is it? Because I've seen that you don't have a lot of possession in games. So is that sort of your style of play? You sort of wait for teams to sort of come onto you and you just do the basics well and then sort of go forward and score? What's your style of play?
It's difficult. You'll see that in all the games that we've won, we've hardly had any of the ball. If you want to have the ball, we're more than happy to let you have it. But like you say, we have such a strict pressing style that a lot of teams can't contain us. So we'll press you pretty high up in areas that you might not like to be pressed in. Ben House, who you would have seen last year, I think he scored twice at your place last year. He's an amazing pressing centre forward who has such intelligence on where to position your centre halves and dictate where we want to go. I think we'll press you from the start. I think in transition, that's where we are best. So let's say Rovers are kicking it about on the halfway line, about just nearly halfway into our half, and the ball turns over. That's when you see Lincoln at the best. Quickly get the ball forward into dangerous areas, and you've got the likes of Mandroy who can thread a pass through a needle. You've got Teddy Bishop, Ben House. You've got Ethan Errahan scored a bit of a world against Blackpool. It's in the transition is where we absolutely kill teams off. And like you mentioned, we had 34% of the ball against Blackpool and still won 3-0. And you wouldn't have argued that the score was the wrong one. So we're very good at what we do. We're not. I wouldn't say we're a physical side. We've got centre. I heard you talking about a player who struggles against sort of physical centre halves. We've got. If we play the likes of O'Connor, Jackson, and Alex Mitchell from Millwall, then old mate, you might have a bit of a tough time because they are old school, rough centre backs. So, but yeah, no, I'm excited. We play good football. We try and play out from the back if we can, but if it's not on, we go long. So, do you know what, Charlie? In other words, I've got no idea how we play football because they just, I don't know how they do it, but they're so good at it, and it's in the transition. If we're turning the ball over a lot early on Saturday, I would be sitting back in my chair and going, I'm starting to get a little bit worried about Lincoln. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting one. Neil, what's your thoughts, or have you got any questions to ask Jake about Lincoln and their start, their certain players, etc., or the way they play, or anything else?
Not really. From obviously what Jake said there, it doesn't seem they don't seem too dissimilar to how we play, to be honest, which makes it a bit of a chess match come Saturday. Other than Joey wants us to have all the ball all day, constantly. which we've seen up to now. It's just that we don't do enough with it in key areas. So I expect us to have a load of the ball Saturday, to be honest. And much like Wycombe, Lincoln be perfectly comfortable with us having it in an area they want us to have it. It's what we do when we get into the uncomfortable areas and when it really counts at key moments. The only question I'd have really is, Lincoln being Lincoln and the squad they've built over the course of 40 plus games. Would you say that squad that you've built there? I know we've got January and clubs at our level sort of had one or two tops. Have you got enough to, sustain for 40 plus games?
Difficult, really difficult, because the start, how we've played in the first 6 games, whatever it is in all comps, would tell me probably yes. But I would be stupid to underestimate the quality that's at the top end of League One. I would probably place us and you guys in a similar sort of bracket as one of those teams chasing a top 6 spot, not guaranteed it, but with ambitions to get in there. I think we're in that next bundle of teams. So anywhere really from 7th down to maybe, 11th, 12th, I think would be anywhere around that area. But I mean, if we continue to play the way we do, and obviously if we're getting confidence from winning every week, then I don't see why not. Because I think the squad that we've got now is more well balanced than the squad that we had when we actually reached the playoffs in 2020-21. We just had a star player that year. It's worth about 50 million quid in today's market, but. Brennan Johnson. Yeah, what a player! You were lucky. You were in. You were in our league, weren't you?
We were in our league, but because I'm pretty sure we beat you away.
Us at our place, yeah, you did.
Beat you, and then I think you beat us like 2-0, maybe.
1-0. We beat you 1-0. I remember. I remember it was on. I watched it on iFollow, but yeah. I think we're more well balanced than that. I'm not going to come on here and say yes, Lincoln are good enough to finish in the playoffs. I don't think we are. But I think we'll be in contention until the last sort of 3, 4, 5 weeks, similar to what you boys would be, I would suspect.
Yeah, because I mean, for me, I'm always the optimistic, but I generally think with the players that we've signed, and if we get Clark Harris, I think there's going to be the thing is that there's going to be so much pressure on us now, especially if we get Clark Harris. You've seen the signings we've made, Luke Thomas, James Wilson, Ryan Woods, there's, Bogard, the players that we already had, Collins, if he can get a goal and get back on the form he showed, I think there's no reason why we can't. But like you said, it's all because I still think we'll get in playoffs. I've already said playoffs, but it always takes us to a while to get going. Even in I know it was different, and I know there's different quality, but even in our League 2s, it was the same. We signed loads of players, but it didn't take us till January. But now, even now, you see Oxford have already had a good start. They're top of the league, but hopefully we can still get there. Fingers crossed. I mean, getting into lineups, I'll go with you, Neil, first. What your team you think that will be in the starting 11? Of course, let us know in the comments as well. Keep hitting the like button. We should be finishing in about 10 minutes. We'll go over our lineups and predictions. Obviously, if you've missed anything that Jake said about Lincoln or what we said previously, like I said at the start of the stream, I'll leave timestamps in the description and then you can click on what bits you've missed. But leave your predictions as well in the comments below. Leave your starting 11s first and then we'll go over score predictions. But Jake, you can think of your starting 11 you think that will play as well, and we'll get yours in a minute. But Neil, what are you going for on Saturday? What would be your starting 11 to face Lincoln City?
Same system as we've been playing, to be honest. I think it'll be a variation of what Lincoln put forward anyway, in the way they played against sort of what we faced against Wycombe with, through the back, 2 wide men, man straight through the middle. I'll go Cox, Hunt at right back, Taylor and Wilson centre half, Friend at full back. I'd play Woods in with Bogard if he's fit. If Woods is fit, I'd play him in with Bogard in the screen. Anthony Evans in front of that. Brown and Thomas either side of Collins.
So if JCH is here,
Would
you play him?
If JC here, I play him, but I just don't think that's the case. Yeah, mate. If JC, if Jono turns up at like 2:45, I play him.
Yeah. So yes, what? So if he doesn't come, you'll go with Collins again and not Marquis.
I'll go Collins through the middle. Yeah. If I don't expect him to play Saturday, Jono, but if he's here, then he plays. Of course he does. Yeah, but at the minute, Collins through the middle. Yeah.
Jake, what's your starting 11 for Lincoln? And keep getting your comments in and let us know your starting 11. I'll get to Ben's in a minute, but Jake, what team are you going for?
This is difficult because we probably rotated a little bit last night. Obviously, with you not having a midweek game, that might come into your benefit a little bit. Obviously, we chased the ball around for pretty much 90 minutes last night, so we might be a little bit tired. But what I would go for, I'll probably go Lucas Jensen in goal is pretty much a certainty. Lasse Sorensen will most certainly feature at right wing back. You're probably looking at Jack Burrows on the other side at left wing back with a back three of Sean Rowan on the left. He's just been called up for the Irish under 21s. Probably Paulie O'Connor, our captain, will play. And the right side of the centre back's really interesting because we have Adam Jackson, who played at the Men last year. I think we've got TJ Ayoma, who's been with us for years, and we've got this new lad Mitchell, who played 90 minutes last night. I think he might get rewarded with the start. He was really good last night. So that's your back five. Ethan Errohan and Ethan Hamilton will sit in your two in midfield, and then your front three will be, I would imagine, Rico Hackett, who's been. I will not sing his song that Cornell came up with there for Rico Hackett. I don't want to embarrass myself, but Rico Hackett will be on the right. Starman Danny Mandroya will be on the left with probably, I'd say, Ben House starting up front. I think that's going to be really important with how we get you into areas that you're not comfortable in. And Ben House will absolutely do that. He'll give the ball. You'll have the ball with players that you don't want them to have the ball at their feet. You'd rather than just oof it and give it to the better players. So that's what I would go for. But we've got options off the bench. Teddy Bishop will come off the bench. Dylan Duffy, another Ireland, the 21, will come off the bench. Tyler Walker to come off the bench. We've got Ali Smith. So we've got options. And hopefully, I mean, you guys talking about Clark Harris coming in, we're hopefully going to sign another attacking loanee, hopefully, before tomorrow's deadline. So interesting to see. But that's what I would go with if I was Mark Kennedy.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, for me, I would go with Cox in goal, Matty Cox in goal, Jack Hunt at right back. I'd go same as Neil in defence with Connor Taylor, James Wilson centre back, George Friend again at left back. I thought the two fullbacks were really good against Wycombe, so I would start them again. Leave Luca Hall and Lewis Gordon, who started all the other games. But yeah, I just think Hunt can offer us more, and I think Friend just is bit more solid defensively and looks even better than Gordon going forward, even though George Friend's 35 and Gordon's 21, 22. Agree again with the midfield. Bogard needs to start. I think Finley and Ward have been poor the last two. And although Finley is captain, I don't care if he's captain. He's been poor. And for me, I agree, Ryan Woods to make his first start with Lamar Bogard sitting. On the right, I would have Thomas. On the left, I would have Harvey Vale. I think he look really bright when he's come on in games. Of course, got his first goal against Wycombe. He can go on the inside or the outside, and he's got a lot of skill. So I'd play him left. I think he deserves a chance on the left. I would go Giovanni Browning Cam just behind Clark Harris if he signs. If Clark Harris doesn't sign, I would start Marquis. I would bench Collins. For me personally, I would bench him because I know he's probably, I don't know whether if his confidence or if his head's turned or if something's happened, but Collins has just been really poor, and it hasn't looked the same. So, and I think I would start Collins behind Clark Harris if he signs, But I think Giovanni deserves another start after he played really well against Wycombe. So, yeah, JCH if he's here. If not, I would go Marquis starting against your old club. Hopefully, Marquis can get a few in against his old team because he hasn't scored yet. And he should be on. He probably should be on 4 or 5 right now. He should be on 4 or 5, Marcus. He should have had a hat trick at Barnsley against Barnsley at home, and he should have had a few at Charlton, but he hasn't. But yeah, that would be my team. Gone. Ben Darrell's gone. Cox, Jack Hunt, Connor Taylor, James Wilson, Friend, Bogard, Woods, Brown, Thomas, Vell, JCH. Basically the same team I would play if JCH is here. Fingers crossed. Touch wood. I'll be praying all night long tonight. Will BRC Vlogs says Cox, Friend, Taylor, Wilson, Hunt, Woods, Evans, Harvey Vell, Giovanni Brown, Luke Thomas, John Marquis, JCH if he's here, of course.
Are you a fullback then, Charlie? That's 4 back. Is that right?
Yeah, 4 at the back. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's just tactically. Yeah, basically, we've not really come up against a 4 back yet, so be intrigued to see how they get on against them because most teams in the league play 3 at the back, don't they?
Yeah. Most teams are just Well, Portsmouth played 4 at the back, Barnsley 3 at the back, Wycombe 3 at the back. Shrewsbury, who you played 3 at the back, Bolton 3 at the back. Yeah, pretty much all the teams apart from us and a few others play 3 at the back. So yeah, that should be interesting. So yeah, getting on to score predictions. I'll go with you first, Neil. Let us know in the comments as well your score predictions. So Neil, what are you going for a score prediction? Are you confident you will get, because apart from last season, we usually have a good record at Lincoln against Lincoln. So, what are you saying?
Considering how we've sort of played in our last 2 games, where our sort of issues lie, coming up against a side that are unbeaten in 6 and not conceded in 3. My most confident is 2-2.
2-2. Goal scorers for both teams?
Evans and Collins, and probably Walker and Bishop.
Yeah. It'd be so Rovers if Ben House and Tyler Walker score as well, because they haven't scored yet this season in the league anyway.
We'll probably go to
especially because. Yeah. I don't know. Well, a few predictions so far in the comments. Gordo saying 1-1. Gas Pap saying 2-1 Gas. Ben Dowell saying if JCH is here, 2-1 Gas. If no Clark Harris, 2-0 Lincoln. Going for a 2-1 loss, says Kieran. I'll get to a few others in a minute. What's your prediction, Jake? I'm guessing you're going to be very confident and hope you can make it 3 in a row against Rovers. So, what's your prediction for Lincoln?
I am, mate. I'm very confident. Based on I have watched your game back on Y Scout against Wycombe. I thought you were quite poor. Wycombe weren't great when they came to us a couple of weeks ago, and maybe they're a couple of weeks on and a couple of performances on, but I really didn't think they were that special, and they turned you over on home soil. I just think the confidence of going to a Premier League ground on Wednesday will absolutely carry us through. And I think on our League One pod, I predicted 2-1 to Lincoln. I think because we had to go to Pens on Saturday, I'm going to go 1-0. We score goals and we don't concede them, which is great. But I think if you are going to push me for a goal scorer, I think I'd probably say Danny Mandroy, but I'd give a caveat of it to be outside the box because he scored some worldies last year. But I'm going to go for a 1-0 away win, and hopefully that can carry us into the top 2 for Saturday tea time. That would be lovely.
Yeah. I mean, for me, I'm not confident at all. But like me and Neil said earlier on, I always predict us to win. I'm always going to predict us to win. And because of, I know the fact you're on amazing form at the moment. What was it, 3rd or 4th in the league, not conceding a lot of goals. But the fact that you played Wednesday, I know it shouldn't really make much of a difference because, you know, players are fit anyway. But from that point, and because we've usually got a good record, I think we'll beat you 2-1. Even with Clark Harris, or even without Clark Harris, I'm going to say 2-1 Rovers. I'll say Giovanni Brown to get his first goal. And I'll say, as everyone in the comments is saying, if JCH is here, he will score. If JCH isn't here, then I'll say Collins to get his first goal. So yeah, I'm going 2-1. Even into OBW as well. He's just tuned in. Let's get to some more because there's loads of predictions tonight. Kieran West says 2-1 loss. Tom Butler 2-1. Will BRC Vlogs 1-1. David Thatcher 2-2. Sid, even into you as well. 3-1 Lincoln if JCH is a no-show. Pity refs are not fit. Yeah, I know. Reese as well. Even into you. So yeah, I've gone 2-1. Neil's gone 2-2. And Jake has gone 1-0. So yeah, fingers crossed we can win, but I'm really not confident. But I still got to predict a win for us. Hopefully it can happen. And we can get our second win of the season and hopefully not make it 3 losses on the bounce. That'd be very, very frustrating. But yeah, we'll have to see. But yeah, we're pretty much going to end it now. Like I said, if you just tuned in or not been watching, I will leave timestamps in the description so you can click on whatever bits you've missed. Paul Davis is going 3-0 Lincoln as well. Wow, that's not, yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if it's 3-0. Yeah. But yeah, I'll leave the timestamps in the description. Like I said, go and subscribe to Jake's channel 72. Go and follow his socials. Go and check out the League One pod as well with Nappers, with Jack from 4-0 written all over it. Jake is on there as well. So, and I'll be on the stream you're doing tomorrow. I'll be on that as well tomorrow. So, see me on there. But yeah, go and check out them. And yeah, if you haven't hit the like button, fingers crossed we can get the win. Subscribe as well if you're new. And yeah, thanks to everyone that tuned in. We'll see you on the next one. Up the gas and can't wait for JCH.